Well, I think people have got to appreciate that it's a fairly tough job to get products authorised, and it's not for the faint-hearted. So you've really got to have really good information. You've got to know what you're facing, and you've also got to have quite a good sense of business, because, as I said earlier, it is characterised by small companies, and unfortunately, many small companies may not make it. They may not remain in the sector, sometimes through choice, sometimes because they simply can't afford it. But they need to be able to plan and know what's ahead, because they want to continue to exist in their markets. Many of them are SMEs that have worked for many, many years, and they don't want to give up their business. The biggest challenge, I think, is that simply the resources. Many companies, particularly in the disinfectant sector, are populated by, as I said, very small companies who simply just don't have the wherewithal to support their products. Also, they've existed in the market, maybe not with very good relations with their active substance suppliers, and it's increasingly vital that they really do have a good link with their active substance suppliers if they're formulators. The active substance suppliers themselves have got to, and they do realise that the formulators are their route to market. So there's got to be, I think, a really improved partnership between active substance suppliers and formulators. It's absolutely vital. Well, get some really good advice. Deal with people who've been through the process. And the newly regulated sectors, the disinfectant sector in particular, they can talk to people who've been through it with insecticides, rodenticides, timber preservatives, because they were the sector groups that trailblazed early on, and they've been through a lot of this, and they're now at the mutual recognition and product authorization phase, and a lot of lessons have been learned. So there is good help out there, there's good information, but they really need to address it. There's no time better than to start rather than right now. You've really got to start right now. There's no good trying to delay and think it'll go away. It won't. It's here to stay. Well, Article 95 is obviously very important because, as I said earlier, the relationship between formulators and their active substance suppliers has been a little tenuous, shall we say. So they've had to re-establish those links. They've had to make sure they've got supply agreements in place. And supply agreements can be good things. It can work both ways. It's for the formulator and for the active substance manufacturer. So the challenge around Article 95 is immense, really. What they've also got to appreciate, I think, is that as they get nearer to dossier construction, that they've got to resource it properly, and they've got to decide whether, if they can resource it, and they've got the cost and time to do it, whether they're going to try and construct their dossiers in-house, or whether they're going to go out to consultancies to get them done. So the challenge really is to get organised. They've got to get organised, really. It's not for the faint-hearted. You've got to really be able to get on top of it. And it may be, unfortunately, that many SMEs do not make it through. That's happened in other sectors. It's not the first time. It's a sad situation, but the reality is that any sector which becomes newly regulated is going to cause casualties, and there will be casualties, and they will go. But the ones hopefully in the market that remain will be supported by enforcement, because if they spent all this money simply just to really stay in the market, there's no other benefit. They would expect their competitors to not be in the market if they haven't spent similar amounts. I think it'll become a more organised and a more structured market. I think the innovation will suffer, to be honest, because people have been able to generate new materials very quickly and get into the market quickly. But that's now going to change. The outcome is to produce safe and effective products. Everybody wants that, and I think hopefully with meetings like this we get a very good engagement with the authorities, and they can appreciate that the industry is keen to do a good job and make sure we have got safe and effective products, but at an acceptable price.